Today is John Cena's final WWE Raw taking place from Madison Square Garden. The reports are coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are finding out is absolutely insane, and we're going to talk about it. Plus, NWA, TNA, and Zack, Ryder. It's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. And as always, if you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell. This way you never miss a video on the channel. I'm going to keep you guys updated along the way every single day with tons and tons of stuff. Like this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, NWA. I want to blow up this image really quick for you guys because Belts by Dan came out and revealed a rejected title belt. This was for the National Heavyweight Championship belt, the NWA National Heavyweight Championship belt. And this was the design that was rejected. Now, obviously, NWA has the red leather belt that seems to be much more classier than this. I actually don't like this design whatsoever. And you might even be wondering, Ango, why are you talking about this? Well, this belt has actually been talked about a lot because AEW is launching their new championship belt, and obviously a lot of people, they just seem to be pretty upset about that. What's the lineage, and Tony Khan talking about, the history behind it and things of that nature. And obviously it just, I understand the national championship belt has a huge history between Georgia and NWA. And then of course, AEW is now trying to do it, and how they respect the history of pro wrestling. Everybody seems to be upset about it, but this was going to be one of the belts NWA used. They chose not to use it. Instead, they're using the classic red strap. Personally speaking, I actually don't like this design. But for those of you guys who like the idea of knowing what belts are being used and which ones have been rejected, that topic is for you. That brings us to our next topic, a possible TNA departure. Well, that is a possibility. Jody Threat, her contract is coming up with TNA. Fightful Select has reported this. They did like this little show. They have a show on Fightful. It's called In the Weeds. Jody Threat was on there. She didn't disclose the exact date of this, but Jody Threat on the show did reveal that her contract is set to expire soon with TNA. She did confirm that, obviously negotiations with the company are underway, but no new deal has been agreed to just yet. Fightful Select had actually followed up with this. They spoke to sources with TNA. They spoke to Jody Threat, and they said that TNA is hoping to keep Jody Threat in the company. AJ Francis is also another guy whose deal is coming up soon. TNA is looking at keeping them. However, no new agreements have been made. So Jody Threat, AJ Francis, these are two contributors to the TNA brand. Obviously, Jody Threat may have not had that many significant, massive storylines for the company, but obviously she was a Knockouts Tag Team Champion. She's a contributor. She's a veteran, very talented. She adds a lot to the Knockouts division. It would make sense for her to remain with the company. AJ Francis is somebody who I have talked very highly of for many, many, many years. Despite being known as Top Dollar in WWE, some of you guys call him Flop Dollar, whatever. This guy is incredibly talented, and I think these are two people that TNA should be keeping. And hopefully with the news of TNA getting a new TV deal, hopefully it happens. Obviously, with TNA and their TV deal, we spoke about that earlier today on AMC Network. I'll put the video up somewhere here, but TNA is going to get paid a little bit, man, and with that new TV deal means you can give a little bit more long-term contracts to talent, and I think that's a very big deal. It's very necessary. I'm not saying Jody Threat is your future main eventer. I'm not saying any of that, but what I am saying is you need to have a roster that does work long term, maybe 1 to 3 years. These per appearance deals that we're starting to see sometimes with TNA, I would prefer that they go away and they can really have a constructed roster that is built for long term. That would be ideal. That brings us to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Zack Ryder. He is doing some amazing stuff for WWE despite the fact that he is not signed to WWE. He is not returning full-time to WWE. However, he is moving merchandise, and he is one of the top sellers. This is really huge. WWE Shop, as you guys know, it's really important for talent to sell merchandise. And Zack Ryder did come up with a merchandising agreement with WWE. They came together for an agreement, despite the fact that he's not signed full time to the company. But he did reveal on X that according to the filter for the top sellers on WWE Shop, the 3 new Zack Ryder shirts are in the top selling shirts. This is obviously a very big deal for a variety of reasons, because if you want Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona in WWE permanently, then look no further than WWE Shop. This is a real test because WWE and TKO are all about the money. And this is a guy who, historically speaking, was a top merch seller. He was a fan favorite. And so WWE bringing Zack Ryder in permanently makes a lot of sense. But right now there is no deal. There is no agreement. There is nothing that's been agreed upon, which makes things even more tricky, makes things a little bit more chaotic, because Matt Cardona works for TNA on a per appearance deal, but he's also appearing on NXT as well as Matt Cardona. I don't want to see him in NXT as Matt Cardona. I want this guy back on WWE television, and whether it be Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona, yes, I would like to see Matt Cardona on the main roster, but I do find that to be somewhat tricky because Zack Ryder is the money, right? The money is in the Zack Ryder intellectual property, not Matt Cardona. So even if he does return full time, don't be shocked if it is Zack Ryder, not Matt Cardona. That brings us to our final topic, ladies and gentlemen, John Cena's final Raw. We got some really big stuff here. I genuinely cannot believe it. If you guys don't like spoilers, keep in mind this isn't guaranteed to be a spoiler, but if you guys don't like spoilers, I've given you guys several minutes to click away or to not click on this topic. But obviously, this is a big one. Fightful Select, Body Slam on Patreon. Both of them have revealed a number of names expected to be backstage for tonight's WWE Raw. Roman Reigns, Liv Morgan, and AJ Lee are all expected to be there. Now, Fightful has also confirmed that as of now, Joe Hendry was not scheduled to travel in for WWE Raw. There was a lot of people thinking he might be Solo Sikoa's opponent. That doesn't appear to be the case, and the reason for that is because Jeff Hardy is being tweeted about all day from WWE on their YouTube, on their Twitter, and TNA is doing the same exact thing. So I'm fully expecting now Jeff Hardy to be the mystery opponent for Solo Sikoa, Joe Hendry not being on there. Now, who is John Cena's final match on Raw going to be against? I hypothesized on our live stream today that it would be Joe Hendry. But obviously, who knows what's going to happen? Very, very clearly, WWE is loading up this show. I mean, WWE wants this to be a big episode. It makes all the sense in the world. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below.